So here we have the finals of the Atlanta Open. Last two teams in here. For Pulliam, Cat Light, and Kwame Gunn, there have been no breaks, having to go all the way through the win and ins to get in here. But now they're in the finals, having taken down the metagame gurus. Kwame on the play. We'll start with Inventor's Apprentice.
Yeah, and the whole team is on the play. They are the 5 versus the 6 seed.
Bomat Courier, another Bomat Courier. Big swing for Kwame. This is 4 damage on turn 2. Sends Rudy down to 16, trying to make a quick game.
Yeah, Rudy is getting run over here.
And it's not until turn 4 that he could have a sweeper. You see he has Essence Scatter on turn 2 available. That doesn't feel fast enough at all.
Nope. Looks like he has access to a Seal Away, so he can stem the bleeding a little bit.
Yeah, that could take care of Inventor's Apprentice. There's just a lot to do. His answers of Seal Away and Essence Scatter, they all take his whole turn, as here's a swing from Kwame.
Yeah, no pre-combat haste threat.
And Ryan, Rudy just takes all the damage. Kwame goes for post-combat Inventor's Apprentice, and Rudy Essence Scatters. I was a bit surprised to not see the Seal Away there.
Especially when you end up converting against a creature that just hit you that turn. It's just the same card that was attacking. It looks like Rudy took 2 points for really no reason. Countering a P&LR would have been better.
Yeah.
That is the 3 you see in this deck. There are 3 copies. Deck lists are face up.
And now that he knows that Kwame doesn't have a third land, I don't know if he'll do that this time. And he's actually going to take a turn off for Search for Azcanta here. Takes down the Seal Away.
Yeah, Kwame not having double red is actually pretty significant. He won't be able to crack both the Bomat Couriers until he finds another red source.
Swings another 4 to put Rudy down to 8. And if he doesn't have a land here, I'm interested whether or not Kwame's going to crack a Courier. Says no. Go over to Rudy's side. Search for Azcanta. Keeps the card on top. Passes. This feels like it could be Settle the Wreckage.
Yeah,
Back
he's playing
Kwame.
4, which
Yeah.
is an above average amount.
Also has Cast Out. Kwame's going to attack with 2 Couriers, respecting some Settle the Wreckage. Trigger on. Rudy is going to, looks like,
Seal Away.
Seal Away the Bomat Courier. See what Kwame wants to do about that one.
It's like 5 cards in hand.
Yeah, 5 in hand.
3 under the Courier.
It stinks to discard 5 cards. Part of me wonders if Kwame could have discarded popped 1 Courier earlier. He just needs lands. If that was the case, if he popped it last, he would have gotten to at least use the card he got in the draw step. But either way, he connects for 2, sends Rudy to 6, and it's still a pass. No more plays.
Chose not to sacrifice the Courier, but then also is not casting a spell this turn.
Yeah.
Now, I understand the 5 for 3 trade is not very good, but if you're not casting spells, it's kind of like you have mind twisted yourself.
Well, he has at least 1 Unlicensed Disintegration in hand, and honestly, Ryan, if he has 2 of them, well, who cares? That's 6 points of damage.
Yeah, you have to get 2 targets, which is that is kind of a tall order in the matchup.
Here's Inventor's Apprentice, Cast Out from Briksza. I'm curious to see which one he's targeting. And yeah, it's targeting the Courier. Good choice. He'll take 1, go to 5, and Kwame doesn't convert. He was careful about those cards in hand that he actually will not convert either Bomat Courier this game.
Yep. Though he does have a pretty full grip here, and he hit a 3rd land there, the Canyon Sluice, so now he should start casting some spells.
Land 6 from Rudy, passes, has Settle the Wreckage up. 4th land from Kwame. Now with 4 lands, let's see what he wants. It is Chandra, Torch of Defiance. That will get negated from Rudy. A swing in from Inventor's Apprentice. Does that earn Settle the Wreckage? That's Rudy's only card. No, it does not. And actually with only 3 cards in the graveyard, sure, Rudy has stabilized, I suppose. Not really.
Yeah, won't be able to transform the Search for Azcanta for a little bit here. And fires out the Field of Ruin likely just because it helps in doing that.
Yeah, it just puts a card in the graveyard. So now there's 4 cards in the graveyard. But Kwame has a lot more power for his 2 copies of Rekindling Phoenix, Unlicensed Disintegration, both all in hand.
Yeah, we're getting very close to converting that Unlicensed Disintegration being lethal, though Kwame no longer has an artifact.
Yeah, Inventor's Apprentice is actually still doing reasonable damage. Rudy will draw. Mills over Settle the Wreckage. Draws a turn, draws Field of Ruin. No targets for Field of Ruin, however. He'll play it. It says go. There are 5 cards in Rudy's graveyard. Still not close to enough. And we'll see. Does this earn Settle the Wreckage? Here's Inventor's Apprentice.
I don't want to go to 3, though. This is not an Lightning Strike deck, rather. There are Braids.
If he casts Settle here, Ryan, then he can transform that Search for Azcanta next turn.
Yeah, that's also something.
He just can't bring himself to do it, though. Rudy goes down to 3.
I think likely the absence of Lightning Strike very impactful in him making that decision.
Rekindling Phoenix was the play for Kwame, and actually, he made land 5, which was a dual land, and that's going to enable SCGATL. If he wasn't going to spend the mana on Kwame's side, I maybe didn't want to make the land drop.
Yeah. Of course, Rudy does have to put the card in the graveyard to transform the search, so
he loses his scry, functionally.
Right. Though an extra 4 looks generally pretty good, there's not a lot of cards that you would keep over that. Island's certainly not it.
Right, so he transforms to SCGATL, the Sunken Ruin, then draws another Field of Ruin. So SCGATL is going to have to help him out, but he has Settle the Wreckage in hand. It might be fine.
Yeah. No real reason to search main phase. You see Rudy pass there because he has to leave up Settle here. You have to take care of that Rekindling Phoenix.
Right, see what Kwame wants to do. Can certainly send in the Phoenix by itself. Maybe Inventor's Apprentice joins. He'll swing in for lethal. So Settle the Wreckage is the play. But Rudy, thanks to all these lands, is going to get to SCGATL in addition to Settle the Wreckage.
Yeah. Pretty productive turn. Rudy is at 3, though.
But we see with these blue-white decks, there's so many hard counters. Rudy on a quad disallow deck. You see Rekindling Phoenix resolves. Yeah. Where he could win from here. This isn't that hard. Top 4. Land, Gear Hulk, Glimmer, the 4th card. If he hadn't found that Rudy did not have any options, and now he draws Cast Out for the turn, things here are fine.
Yes. Yeah, you can cover the Phoenix now cleanly. It's an advantage that blue-white has over blue-black generally.
Draw for Kwame. Not too many burn sources. He'll swing Rekindling Phoenix.
And actually giving up a point here because it's Cast Out and not Settle. Though Rudy heavy on Settle and Torrential Gearhulk also is just more copies of Settle.
Sure. Aether Sphere Harvester for Kwame Gunn.
That turns on Licensed Disintegration.
I do like that. He'll say go.
It also makes the Apprentice a 2-power creature.
Ryan, disallow. Found Glimmer of Genius for Rudy. Believe we found disallow off that SCGATL.
Yep, that one is in hand. And then we have Island Essence Scatter on the top there. 1 top, 1 bottom. Yeah, and it is the Essence Scatter he picks up. And Torrential Gearhulk under it. Yikes.
Yeah, 6 mana up with Gearhulk. So that should be pretty good. Now, if he somehow presents a threat, things still could get dicey.
If he casts Gearhulk on this turn, he loses on the spot. Because of Unlicensed Disintegration.
Yeah. Here is Bomat Courier. That's Essence Scattered.
All right, and that means that Rudy is not Gearhulking.
No, his last 2 cards are Disallow and Gearhulk. So does he have to, if Kwame crews, does he have to disallow the crew trigger? No, I'm for real.
That attacker is pretty lethal, so yeah.
Okay, crew. Rudy, disallow the crew trigger?
What?
Activates SCGATL. That doesn't work. Rudy, you're dead. He finds Teferi.
When?
Right?
What's happening here? Did we attacked for 2? Oh, wow.
Oh, it wasn't crew. That was an attack.
All right.
So now Rudy gets to make Teferi. Rudy is down to 1. The attack was, yeah, I guess crewing was only 1 more point of damage. Kwame wanted to protect the vehicle. I guess he just assumed there was a removal spell, and he wanted the removal spell to be sent on Apprentice instead of the Harvester.
Yeah, there was 4 mana up, and you saw him play around Settle on a previous turn. Though on some of these, if he chose not to play around that, he would have got it. He's still in the game.
Right. All right, let's go back over to Kwame. He's got Rudy down to 1. There's a Teferi in play. Plays, looks like, Scavenger Ground of his own. That actually is very good because of the Torrential Gearhulk. Swing, Commit to Memory from Rudy. Puts it second from the top. Can Kwame find 1 more point of damage? Not yet, says go. SCGATL from Rudy. And that's going to find
Blink of an Eye.
Yeah, the functional reprint there of Into the Royal. Another draw is Fumigate from Rudy. Plus is on Teferi. Draws a second disallow. I don't know if Kwame wins through 2 disallows. We're getting to that point where he can't do anything. And he'll SCGATL again. That's because he wants to untap SCGATL to Teferi. Rudy top 4 finds Seal away, untaps 2, as Kanta and Island says go. He's got, make that as Kanta as Plains. He's got a lot of hard counters here. Chandra, top card for Kwame. He has Chandra and PNLR. He can try for both. He'll get a stack of disallows. Disallow on Chandra. And Kwame just keeps leaving up that unlicensed disintegration. It looks like what he's doing. But that's, so he'll try for PNLR.
And that could crew the Harvester straight away, so you want to do something about that.
Rudy gonna Gear Hulk a disallow most likely, or an Essence Scatter on it. So Gear Hulk now in play, going back over to Briksza, another Teferi drawn. Unless its saturation would be lethal, but it's unlikely to happen. We see disallow in Rudy's hand. I guess if Kwame draws 2 disintegrations, we might see that matter.
He also has, oh, no, now he does not have it, but
yeah, he has Blink of an Eye.
casting the Blink of the Eye on the Harvester does make it so disintegration is off, so you have to resolve both.
Okay. Swinging for 5, Kwame down to 15.
And it looks like Rudy has turned the corner.
Yeah, I just have too many hard counters at this point. Draw of Inventor's Apprentice from Kwame, unlikely to do much.
Yep, that's the one that was committed previously.
Tries to recast Harvester. See if Rudy cares. Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, unlikely to care about that one.
Inventor's Apprentice from Kwame. Some split results on the other boards. Jonathan Job winning in Game 1 in Legacy. Cat Light winning Game 1 in Modern. Rudy can cast Glimmer of Genius here. Top, bottom. Draws 2. And says go. And wisely, Rudy did not activate Escanta.
Yeah,
Would have died on that.
He has yet to commit into the disintegration. No reason to start now.
Swing with Torrential Gear Hulk. Kwame down to 10. Teferi draws. Makes 2 mana. Cycles. Untaps the lands.
And if Rudy's into it, Emblem's online next turn, and with a second Teferi in hand, seems like a pretty good play.
Yeah, Kwame continues to try to find a window for these disintegrations, but it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, you can only realistically cause Rudy to have 2 things, and he certainly has that.
Inventor's Apprentice attempts to swing for lethal. Here is Seal Away from Briksza on the Apprentice. And Kwame says go. He can try for unlicensed disintegration at some point if he'd like, but Teferi going to Emblem from Rudy.
And this will be the first Teferi Emblem in SCG.
Yeah, so the emblem is when Rudy, whenever he draws a card, he can exile a permanent.
I believe so.
That's pretty good.
Not bad.
Now another Teferi will start some card drawing.
Oh, and I believe that card draws cards.
So we'll draw and exile the Aether Sphere Harvester. Kwame's going to try for disintegration. It's not going to work. Rudy has a bunch of ways to counter it. He'll try to unlicense disintegrate the Gear Hulk. Rudy has disallow. And another disintegration. Does he have enough mana to pay again?
Is this only 5 up for the Gear Hulk?
Rudy, oh no,
oh wow!
Oh my gosh,
that's unreal! oh no, Kwame Gunn takes down Game 1, a drawn-out affair. We thought that Rudy had turned the corner, but it was not meant to be. Got a little excited about that Teferi.
I don't know if we needed to tap out for the second Teferi.
Yeah, maybe not.
Oh my!
Yikes!
Ooh, okay.
That was a game. That was a game.
Look. Okay. I was thinking Kwame had missed the window on those cards being lethal.
Yeah, you know, it always comes back around.
And Kwame Gunn takes Game 1. All right.
Huh.
We'll be back in just a minute. I'll look at some sideboards. We are back here with the sideboards for both players. Game 1 goes to Kwame Gunn, winning that one on turn 20.
Yes.
He gets there with some unlicensed disintegrations. Rudy finally plays a creature, and that's going to be lethal. Let's look at the sideboards, Ryan. Okay, on Rudy Briksza's side, he's going to have to deal with a more mid-range deck. He's got 3 Forsake the Worldly, 3 Negate, 3 Lyra Dawnbringer, 2 Karns, the 4th Seal Away, another extra Cast Out, an Ixalan's Binding, and a Jace's Defeat.
So generally, you do like Lyra Dawnbringer against red. You like it a lot less when they have unlicensed disintegration. You might just have to hope it works out, to be entirely honest, because unchecked, it is really your best card in the matchup. The extra Steal Away, that'll slow things down. That's pretty powerful. Don't mind another Cast Out and or Ixalan's Binding.
How do you feel about Karn? Is this the kind of matchup where you'd want it?
Karn's powerful. I don't hate it.
All right, Kwame Gunn can become much more of a mid-range deck. Post-board, he can go up to 3 Doomfall, 3 Sweltering Suns, 2 Sorceress Spyglass, 2 Arguel's Bloodfast, 2 Magma Spray. He actually has an extra land in Canyon Slough just in case he needs to get bigger, which I kind of think he'll do. An extra Glorybringer and a Chandra Torch of Defiance.
So Arguel's Bloodfast, likely the best card in the 75 in this kind of matchup.
Yeah, I'd agree.
That one's for sure. I also like Sorceress Spyglass a good amount, both for Teferi and for Escanta the Sunken Rune. Or rather, you can't name lands on that one, right?
No, you could get Karns if they're out of the sideboard, and the players do know deck lists.
Teferi is the big name.
Yeah, and I do want to find it.
More Chandra
like
seems nice. Doomfall seems nice. Yeah, there's a lot to like about this sideboard.
In Gunn's deck, what is coming out for these? He has 3 Abrades, which are pretty easy cuts, but after that, it's unclear.
Yeah, the Rekindling Phoenix in the face of so much exile and removal, not a huge fan of that one. Walking Ballista is not great in the matchup. I would like at least to trim on that. You don't want to go too low on artifacts because you have several cards that care about having artifacts. There's an argument for going at least lighter on Disintegration, though if Rudy's bringing in all of these Lyras, you want to make sure that you have at least 1 for every Lyra.
Yeah. Kwame taking a mulligan to 6 here. Rudy has kept 7 on the play. Cat Light, I've mentioned Kwame's teammate over there, also having taken game 1 over in Modern. So pressure is on for Rudy Briksza to even things up.
Things a bit tougher on the legacy table. As Jonathan Job has won Game 1 against Will Pulliam. They've been at Game 2 for a while now.
Not sure. That's not a good thing for Pulliam either. Turbo Depths is not a deck that wants to play too many turns.
Yeah, if you got a deck with Turbo in the name, it's probably not in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
Except Turbo Fog, I guess. You know, there's counterpoints to everything.
Turbo Burn.
Said it and immediately remembered that one.
Turbo Fog. Yeah, that deck wins fast. Kwame on 5 is going to help Rudy out a bit.
Indeed.
He doesn't have too many. Kwame doesn't have all that many cards that can actually recover well here.
Well, we have seen a player playing, earlier it was Mono Black with Arguel's Bloodfast, winning a mulligan into 5 in a similar matchup, and there are Bloodfasts available. That card is really powerful.
Yeah.
It's the one transform card in Ixalan that you actually basically never want to actually transform.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, usually you're like,
the
I
ones are
want
good.
to transform this because it makes more mana. I want to get another land. Where that one's like, I would like to draw some cards.
Yeah, just don't transform, please. I mean, I guess by the time it satisfies the transform condition, you're kind of done with the front side. You just like, when I'm at 4, I don't really think, hey, I want to keep this Bloodfast in play.
But then you're like, all right, sacrifice my 5 toughness creature. I would like another Bloodfast.
Yeah, you want it when you go above 5, you want it to flip back.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Spire Industry into Bomat Courier for Kwame starts things out. Bomat Courier, that's a card if it lines up right, which could do a lot to undo a mulligan.
Very high ceiling.
Second land mountain. See if there's a seal away. There's not. Rudy goes to 18. Second card under Courier. Don't mind what's happening here.
Yeah, that's a good sign. With no seal away on 2, it's not until 4 something else shows up.
He'll try Scrap Heap Scrounger. Rudy actually Essence Scatters it anyway. Tap land. And there's the seal away. So Rudy will take care of the Courier.
Yeah, good sequencing by Rudy there. Took 1 point, let him Essence Scatter, and then seal away.
Piano Lar for Kwame. Things are actually working out pretty well for Red Black. Now, he's going to run into a problem here where his mull to 5
that catches up.
Will catch up to him.
Yeah, Rudy's making his land drops. Looks like the holdings have a Glimmer of Genius and a Teferi.
Swing of 3, Rudy down to 15.
And previously, we've seen Kwame pay a lot of respect to Settle the Wreckage. In this game, he probably just can't afford to do that.
Yeah, Kwame will go ahead and pump an extra point of damage in, sends Rudy to 14, plays land and passes. Over to Rudy for land 5, passes, no Teferi there. He had one in hand but chose not to do it, going back to Kwame.
Yeah, leaving up, looks like both Cast Out and Glimmer of Genius.
Not too bad, here comes Piano Lar. Kwame could pump up to twice with her ability. And Rudy will just go to 11. Kwame's getting some good damage in. We'll see if he stalls out at some point, though. Rekindling Phoenix, looks like it'll be the follow-up.
It's a good one to cast out.
Yeah, don't mind that. It's disallow on Rudy's side. He'll do that instead of cast out.
Also a good one to disallow.
Teferi, Glimmer in Rudy's hand. He'll cast a Teferi. Plus it up to 5. It's not great on his side. Land and untap. This is, to me, if he has the cast out, this I would have wanted to see cast out because now the disallow would actually be up.
Yeah.
This feels like it could have been done a little more cleanly.
Right. And if Kwame wants to pump the Thopter twice, he can just deal with it to Teferi.
He can. It'll be his whole turn, and he does have an opportunity here to shoot down the Arguel's Bloodfast, or to cast it, but instead he's going to put Teferi down to 1 and cast Bloodfast, or cast Ballista, and finish it off that way. Ryan's the reason you do that instead of double pumping?
I'm not thinking of one. Yeah, this is not a deck that really cares about having that creature in the graveyard.
Replacement Teferi from Rudy, so Kwame can keep working. I mean, he can just do a full pump on the Thopter to hit down the Planeswalker again. Both swing. See, will he pump twice? Pump once. Pump twice. Is that good? Rudy has found a seal away, so no. Or not seal away, it's blink of an eye. He'll bounce the Thopter. That's gone. PNLR only deals 2 Teferi drawing another card. Quite the powerful card here, though.
Yeah, Torrential Gearhulk was picked up.
Yeah. So we see a tap land, untap 2. Rudy can leave up Gearhulk mana. That's going to be hard to overcome for Kwame. If Rudy can protect the Teferi, he should be able to transition into that late game. Looked so good for him last round, but at 11 life, I think he'll have enough of a padding to keep control.
Yep.
Hits Rudy down to 9. Chandra is cast, and we'll see Gearhulk on disallow for Chandra. Big play. Rudy draws Settle. Teferi draws a card, finds Field of Ruin.
It doesn't take too long for Gearhulk to close the game, especially when you're up on cards and drawing more at turn.
Right, so 8 lands in play now for Briksza. Swings with Gearhulk. Kwame Gunn down to 15. 3 more hits to go. Rudy wants to spend some main phase mana. He'll use the Seal away so that he can untap to the Teferi as we go back over to Kwame's turn. Fair enough. Kwame's side does not have any threats. He's facing down a Teferi and a Gearhulk. Both of the threats in Rudy's deck have resolved. He's only gotten him to 9. We'll try for another Pia Nalar. Rudy will Glimmer in response. Doesn't really need to answer it technically, but he might find one. Search for Azcanta, one of the top 2.
Yeah, it'd be pretty reasonable to fire off a counterspell here, though. Is Settle the Wreckage has things pretty well covered.
Yeah, it looks like we have Negate. Yeah, Negate and a Search for Azcanta. So Rudy will just take both of them. Pia Nalar resolves, but he's still in a great spot, and now Cast Out will take care of the Pia. And Kwame's seen enough of this one. They're going to shuffle him back up for game number 3.
Yeah, that mulligan to 5, that's a bad way to start. He was able to get some early aggression, but couldn't follow up with much else from there.
All right, so they're going to shuffle up. We're going to take a look over at Modern, where Cat Light is trying to close out Brian Basoco, Bant Spirits, and Humans. Right now, Cat Light at 14. Go over to the match in just a second here. This is one we figured might be close. On her side of the board, just Noble Hierarch, but she's casting Spell Queller. She's facing down a ton of pressure, though. It looks like a lot of things have been Reflector Mage. We have a Phantasmal Image and a Reflector Mage, both on the board, as well as a 3/3 Mantis Rider and a Thalia's Lieutenant.
It looks like we saw Vial on 3 and then something cast after.
Okay. So Lieutenant does not resolve. Spell Queller will eat that one. And Dismember on Spell Queller. Brian insists. And this could go very poorly for Cat.
Yeah, Brian is just really far ahead on the battlefield. So get this Lieutenant that'll really turn that advantage even further. See if Cat has something like a Rattle Chains to block the Dismember. It would be pretty important that she had something like that, though.
Yeah, so Dismember, if it hits on the Spell Queller, now the Thalia's Lieutenant comes back. Trigger a huge amount of pumps. Those are all humans. And this is because it's such a creature mirror, it's not like Cat has a Supreme Verdict to draw to or anything like that. This is just too much damage.
Right.
So we see 4 off Mantis Rider. Champion of the Parish makes 9. Reflector Mage makes 12. And Phantasmal Image is going to make 15. This is lethal if she has nothing to play. Looks like there's a path to exile. We'll keep her alive for a turn.
But she just doesn't have anything on the battlefield.
Not really.
That Noble Hierarch and 4 lands aren't going to be able to right this ship.
So with Rudy Briksza evening things up in Standard, it looks like Brian Basoco is going to follow suit and even things up over in Modern.
Right.
At 1 game apiece.
We've got to be getting close to getting a Legacy update. It seems like it's been a long time on that game, but we'll find out sooner than later.
Yeah, Legacy still in game 2 right now. Pulliam trying to make do here. Path to Exile will shoot down the Mantis Rider. Exiled.
Yeah, the basic plane's already on the battlefield. Humans only plays 1 basic land.
So she's just taking 11. She'll go to 3.
Yeah, that's it, though.
Pass from Basoco. Draw from Cat. But no way to deal 11 this turn and no way to stem off next turn's attack.
Yeah, there's just kind of too much going on already.
Yeah, you need something like accompanying into 2 Reflector Mages. And she'll try again. Yeah, Selfless Spirit could buy herself a turn. Not even 2 Selfless Spirits. I suppose this might buy her turn, but looks like Basoco has evened things up.
Yeah. Yeah, Cat get a couple blocks there, but it doesn't look like she'll be able to get out of this.
All right, so we're going to go back over to our standard match. Rudy, Briksza, and Kwame. Gunn getting ready for a 30. And Kwame's going to be back on the play. I remember last game, Ryan, he was on a mull to 5 on the draw.
Yeah.
And actually presented some reasonable threats there.
Had a good start. Applied some early pressure, had kind of a 1-2-3 curve. The blue-white control does have some reasonable, efficient answers. They get a lot worse on the draw. In game 1, in the early game, Kwame did kind of run over Rudy. Ended up winning much, much later, but the early damage was very important.
Rudy this time, he on the draw is going to take a mulligan. He goes down to 6. Kwame keeping on 7.
And that feels a lot better from Kwame's seat. Rudy does need some pretty specific things in hand to start the game off.
The big thing I don't like about the mulligans on Rudy's side is that the blue-white control deck, and just blue decks in general in Standard, if they miss a land drop before turn 4, their win percentage takes a huge hit.
Yes. Yeah, it's the kind of deck where you need all your lands and you need specific spells on time. Actually, one thing I really like about the update with Teferi to this deck is that once you get Teferi online, obviously you get access to more mana.
You can miss land drops at that point?
Right, but as compared to the blue-white approach deck, you don't need to hit quite as many land drops outside of that. You don't need to get to land 7 every time, which is a bit better.
Right, if your deck needs to hit land 7 on turn 7, you need to play 27, 28 lands and some cantrips. You just got to be full of them. This deck can slim down.
Right, and you play that many lands, and sometimes you still miss land drops. I mean, it's just something that happens.
Right. Yeah, once this deck hits enough mana for the Teferi, things are fine.
All right, and Rudy's happy with his 6. Looks like he has a couple lands and a couple 2-mana spells, which is about as much as you can ask for in an opening hand.
Turn 1 Bomat Courier from Kwame. We've seen that each game. Yet to see it ever convert into cards, but
someday.
Yeah, basic island for Rudy. And Bomat Courier will hit him down to 18. Second card. Rudy, it looks like his turn 2 is an Essence Scatter. He'll hold that up. There was no turn 2 play for Kwame. Rudy actually has one of his sideboard Forsake the Worldlies in his hand. Could function against Bomat Courier.
Yeah, it is a removal spell for that. Generally, you want to hit something like Scrap Heap Scrounger with that, and there was no action on 2.
Swing from Bomat Courier, Spire Industry. And here's Aethersphere Harvester. You can't
scatter that.
Can't scatter that. He can use his Seal away on the Bomat Courier after taking damage. He held it up. Strongly suggests he has that counter spell. And now says go. 3-man up, though, and Forsake the Worldly, so he will be able to take care of the Harvester if he needs to. Land 4 from Kwame. Board's clean. He's only done 3 damage. And Scrap Heap Scrounger. So 2 nice artifacts to exile. You don't really want to Essence Scatter the Scrounger.
Yeah.
It will crew the Harvester, swing for 3. Rudy has a decision now.
Yeah, you really want to forsake the Scrounger.
Right.
And this hit for 3, it's not guaranteed to matter. Though Rudy does go for the forsake on the Scrounger, conserving his life total. That makes sense. He does have a lot of things that do exile Scrounger.
And he has a Lyra Dawnbringer in hand too, Ryan. And so this may not matter. Kwame will hit him down to 14.
I don't believe that at this point in time Kwame has an Unlight Disintegration.
Casts Pia Nalar. That's good for an Essence Scatter from Briksza. Casts Scrap Heap Scrounger and passes. That's actually also good for an Essence Scatter. And Rudy, land 5, Lyra. Just 1 card. So if Kwame can draw a Disintegration, we're back in it. But I don't think he has it.
I do not believe he does.
Rudy holds it up. He's like, is it dead? And Kwame goes, no, it's not. That's a tough one. As predicted, by the way, it's now official. Brian Basoco does take game 2 in Modern, so they are going to 3.
All right.
Hazaret. It's a great card from Kwame, but and it can attack into Lyra. It's not going to race it.
Yeah.
But hits Rudy down to 9. And look at that draw from Rudy is fantastic.
Torrential Gearhulk.
His hand was just a land 6. He draws Gearhulk. He has Forsake the Worldly in the Great.
Yeah, this is very nice.
Torrential Gearhulk does a good job of blocking Hazoret.
Right. Rekindling Phoenix, it's Torrential Gearhulk. Essence scatters the Phoenix, and it can block Hazoret. Kwame just says go. I guess Rudy could have gotten more damage by swinging first. But either way, the Lyra is just taking over. Kwame needs a Disintegration. He doesn't have one. Plays out his land. Last card here. It's going to be another Phoenix. That one works. He'll pass back. Over on Legacy, all games now going to Game 3.
The Phoenix is an infinite blocker for the Lyra, so it buys some time.
Well, it is until Rudy draws this Disallow.
Yeah, that's rough.
So you can counter a triggered ability as well. So the Rekindling Phoenix will try to make a Phoenix Egg, and Rudy can just say no. I think
he's probably asking for the wording on the Phoenix Egg. Is sacrificing part of the cost? How does that work?
Yeah, he needs to figure out which part of the Phoenix to disallow.
Yeah, you can disallow making the egg itself, even if the other thing is worded differently.
That's probably the cleanest way to deal with it.
Yeah.
You see, shuffling on the other two boards, they are both going to Game 3. Right now, it looks like Catlight and Pulliam will need to both win, as Rudy is taking control of the standard game.
And that is a pair of upsets.
Yeah, we were thinking that this Kwame's match was pivotal to their team winning here.
Looks like Rudy decided on no attacks with Lyra.
Okay, another land and a pass. Kwame discards that mountain, shoots Rudy down to, well, 17.
Yeah, Kwame had plenty of lands, so won't be missing that one.
Here's Scrap Heap Scrounger back into play. Don't think Rudy's going to disallow that one.
It would be unlikely.
What he can do, even if he doesn't want to deal with Phoenix that way, he can just hold the disallow so that he always protecting Lyra Dawnbringer. That's not terrible.
Yeah.
Aethersphere Harvester for Kwame. He'll cast it.
Not a significant addition to the battlefield.
Nope, up to 3 energy, and just we are waiting to see what Lyra can do. Rudy, in the meantime, has drawn another Torrential Gearhulk. So Kwame is going to need many answers to Lyra.
Rudy's only one land away from being able to Gearhulk and disallow in the same turn.
Right. Land from Kwame, that does nothing, says he can hold it, says go. Rudy will Gearhulk forsake the worldly on Aethersphere Harvester. It's an aggressive use of the Gearhulk here, Ryan. I'm not sure I like that one. It doesn't just attack because of Hazoret.
Well, it doesn't die. It's a 5/6. It can attack into Hazoret.
I suppose actually the double blocks on Kwame's side to kill it aren't very strong. Crafty Scrounger doesn't block.
Yeah.
You'd have to give away the Phoenix. And at 10...
Attacking for 15 is...
Yeah, Rudy can just go mid-range here.
It's a nice attack.
Says go. Kwame will shoot him to 15. If you're going to use that Gearhulk play, I guess, then I would have liked to have seen an attack there.
Yeah.
You can play the Gearhulk as a mid-range card and attack with it, or you can save it back as another disallow. I think they're both pretty good lines.
Yeah, if the concern is about being cracked back, then every turn that the Hazoret gets to activate makes that a little more likely. I don't think that Rudy was dead on that turn, and especially with the disallow backup.
He had to disallow Pia Nalar there. You see we're now main phase glimmering because Scrap Heap Scrounger plus Pia Nalar's sacrifice ability is just incredible here.
Yeah, it makes it so blocking is really difficult.
Yeah, you can just keep swinging through the Lyra repeatedly. It would end the game rather quickly. But what Rudy did draw then is Glimmer of Genius. He draws into Teferi, casts Teferi, -3s, swings, and that is a lethal attack. Rudy Briksza wins 2 games to 1, and his tournament is done.
Yeah. Welcome back to Standard, Baneslayer Angel.
Yeah.
Lyra Dawnbringer, that card is impressive.
So back over to the modern table we're going to go. Brian Basoco and Catlight. Now Cat needs to win to keep their tournament alive. And if that last board state was any indicator, this could be tough for her. Those Thalia's Lieutenants are hard to deal with, and it's not easy. We see Meddling Mage, Champion of the Parish, and Noble Hierarch all in play for Basoco. We'll see what that mage is on in just a second here.
And the Cat would have been on the play this game, and Brian does have 3 lands on the battlefield, the Cat's 2. So it looks like she might be off balance on mana.
And that was a Noble Hierarch Phantasmal Mage, but Reflector Mage will put it back in her hand. Swing both in.
That will make it be sacrificed, but yeah.
Right. Swing both in. Cat's going to take 5, go to 15. That Meddling Mage, by the way, is on Path to Exile.
All right.
Sure. I'm ahead on the board. Don't remove my things.
Right. And it also, Path to Exile is the removal spell in Banned Spirits. There's that and Reflector Mage. So once you cover Path, future Meddling Mages just turn things
And
off.
Ryan, things looking good for the team of Basoco. Another missed land drop for Cat Light means he can continue to move ahead. Thalia's Lieutenant's going to pump the team. Yeah, this is, we see 7 damage. It's going to push it up to 11. If this resolves, Cat's going to drop to 4. We're looking at a 2-turn clock.
Yep.
And this is all without Jonathan Job's match.
Right. Which figures to be favored in.
And a full swing in here.
Looks like
Actually,
12.
no, 12. Yeah, Cat down to 3. And what a run for their team. Team of Pulliam, Light, and Gunn. But not able to get it done here.
Job, Basoco, Briksza, inch ever closer to a trophy. Inch ever closer to a bingo win.
You know, all I needed, someone had to cast a spell with flashback.
Yeah.
Just one Snapcaster Mage. That's
We
any of them.
We covered multiple Past in Flames decks.
Yeah, we also got, yeah, that would have worked too. That card also has flashback. A Faithless Looting. Modern has lots of cards with flashback. A Cabal Therapy would have worked.
Yep.
Didn't see that. Yep.
Well played. But yeah, the Mana Woes here. This is a matchup where you really just need to get on the battlefield quickly, scale with your opponents, find a way to favorably engage in combat, and hopefully pull ahead. But when you miss land drops, just none of that stuff is going to line up correctly.
No, especially not in a linear racing matchup like this. Neither player plays enough removal to play from behind.
Right.
So you just need to play from ahead, and when you stumble, you're going to lose.
Right.
Cat consulting with teammates. I don't know. I mean, there's a Meddling Mage on Path to Exile, even if she had them.
Right. Yeah, you could flash in a Rattle Chains, make some kind of block. That's probably the best that you can produce here, but Cat won't be taking a small amount of damage on this turn.
2, we do have Rattle Chains. It can block just Noble Hierarch.
Well, you can make other blocks.
Not if Basoco dismembers it.
Yeah.
Cat down to 3. Pass. Make an untap. We'll correct that. She's down to 2, but a full grip of cards.
Oh, and she has Worship in her hand,
Can't get to cast
not
it
the
in
mana to
time.
cast it. No creatures just yet.
That was the card she'd want here, too. And you remember there was that image on Noble Hierarch. She was building toward it.
Right. Yeah, that is unfortunate.
There's the land. If the Hierarch was around, that would have worked for Worship. Maybe she'd have a way to get back in, but she needs to survive to the untap, and I just don't see how that's happening.
Right, yeah, the Hierarch would have been both the 4th mana and a creature to try to hang on.
Just checking to be sure, but there's nothing you're going to do on that, and puts down the cards. That's going to be the match, and we have your winners, the team of Jonathan Job, Brian Basoco, and Rudy Briksza. They take 2 of those game 3s.